All right, so are you ready for this? We are diving deep into the career of a true WWE legend,
A legend is right.
Triple H.
Yes, sir.
And guess what? He is the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2025.
That's right.
I mean, come on. Can you imagine being at work and getting surprised with that kind of news?
Yeah, I mean, it's not your typical Monday morning, staff meeting when Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker walk in.
Right.
The Express Tribune really does a great job of setting that scene at WWE headquarters.
I mean, talk about a power move.
Yeah.
It's not a press release.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a tweet. It's not just some random announcement.
Right.
It's two guys who've been there, in the thick of it with him delivering the news personally.
Absolutely.
And I bet that's a moment that Triple H will never forget.
And I think his reaction, joking about, killing Nick Khan, the WWE CEO, really shows just how genuine and surprised he was.
Yeah.
I think it humanizes him. It wasn't just some corporate formality. This clearly meant a lot to him.
Yeah, it really did seem like it meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know the guy gets emotional, right?
Yes.
But let's talk about what makes him Hall of Fame worthy.
Okay.
14-time world champion.
14-time world champion.
That's not just a number. That's a statement.
It puts him in a very small group of people.
Right.
We talk about the Nature Boy Ric Flair,
Yeah.
16 championships, and then, of course, John Cena tied with Triple H with 14.
Wow.
But it's not even just about the number, It's about the journey to get there.
Right.
We're talking 2 decades of dominance and reinventing himself.
Yep.
Adapting to different eras in the WWE and staying relevant, which in that business can be very, very difficult.
That's true. And, let's not forget about those rivalries.
Oh, yeah.
The Rock, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, John Cena. I mean, even people who don't follow wrestling
Right.
know those names.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those weren't just matches. Those were like cultural events.
They were moments in time, and they were crafted narratives, right?
That were, they played on real-life personalities, and they tapped into what the audience really wanted at that time, and they knew how to create these moments that resonated with millions of people, and I think that's what made them so compelling.
For sure.
I mean, it's like any great sports rivalry,
Oh, for sure.
whether it's Ali versus Frazier or the Lakers versus the Celtics,
Yep.
There's a story there that goes beyond the sport itself.
Yeah, you mentioned storytelling, and it makes me think about Triple H's role as the architect of NXT.
Yeah.
What was it about NXT that made it such a game changer?
Well, I mean, NXT started as WWE's developmental brand.
Okay.
It was kind of a place for new talent to really hone their skills.
Gotcha.
But I think under Triple H's leadership, it became a phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
He brought in talent from all different backgrounds, different wrestling styles, and gave them the freedom to develop their characters.
Okay.
And connect with the audience on a deeper level.
Yeah, you can almost see his fingerprints all over it.
Oh, absolutely. Right. It wasn't just about the matches themselves. It was about, really crafting these compelling narratives and showcasing personalities that maybe hadn't been seen before.
Yeah, and one of the most significant things about NXT, I think, was its impact on women's wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you're talking about women like Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch.
Huge names.
These women weren't just, side acts. These
Right.
women were headlining shows,
Yeah.
main eventing pay-per-views, and proving that they could draw just as much, if not more, than the men.
It was a seismic shift in the industry.
Yeah.
And was something that he was really championing from the very beginning.
Absolutely. I think he saw the potential in these women, not just as wrestlers, but as athletes and entertainers.
Right.
And he created an environment where they could really thrive and push boundaries
Right.
and redefine what it meant to be a woman in pro wrestling.
Okay, so we've got this legendary wrestler,
Yes.
this mastermind behind NXT,
Uh-huh.
and then he becomes the WWE's Chief Content Officer.
That's a lot of hats.
It is a lot of hats. I mean, what does that even entail?
Yeah.
Is that a natural transition?
I don't know if it was a natural transition.
Okay.
You have to remember that Triple H officially retired
Yeah.
from in-ring competition at WrestleMania 38.
Okay.
A cardiac event the year before really forced him to reevaluate his priorities.
Okay.
And, while it marked the end of an era, it also opened the door for this new chapter.
Yeah, that's a big change, going from physically performing to being the guy who shapes the entire creative direction of the company.
It's a huge responsibility as Chief Content Officer. He's essentially in charge of everything the audience sees.
Wow.
The storylines, the characters, the matches, the presentation of the WWE as a whole.
Great.
It's about creating a cohesive vision, a product that resonates with fans, and a brand that continues to grow.
So that's a lot to handle.
It is.
And this article mentions some pretty big moves that he's already made.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, in this role.
Yeah.
I mean, he secured some game-changing deals.
Huge deals.
It's like the partnership with Netflix.
Yeah.
Bringing WWE to a whole new audience.
Oh, absolutely.
So he's not just focused on, hardcore wrestling fans. He's looking at a bigger picture.
A much bigger picture. And then, of course, there's the formation of TKO.
Right.
The merger of WWE and UFC.
Right.
Which has created this massive media and entertainment conglomerate.
Wow.
And I think that's really a testament to his business acumen.
For sure.
I mean, we're talking about shaking up the entire landscape of sports entertainment.
It really is amazing when you think about it.
Yeah.
That journey from, those early days in the ring, battling it out with guys like The Rock to now.
Right.
I mean, it makes you wonder, what was it like for him to make that transition?
I think it speaks to his adaptability.
Okay.
His willingness to constantly learn and evolve.
Yeah.
He could have easily just rested on his laurels as this wrestling legend, but he's chosen to take on this new challenge, and he's thriving.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
So from the ring to the boardroom and now to the Hall of Fame, it's been quite the journey.
It has.
But what does it take to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
What makes someone worthy of that honor? Is it just about, championships and wins?
I think it's much more than that.
Okay.
I think the WWE Hall of Fame is really about recognizing the individuals who have shaped professional wrestling.
Okay.
Who have left a mark on the industry and who have inspired generations of fans.
So it's not just about being a good wrestler.
It's not just that.
It's about the overall impact you've had on the business.
The impact, the legacy you've built, the contributions you made, the way you connected with the audience, the way you pushed the boundaries of what's possible in pro wrestling. And I think Triple H embodies all of those qualities.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
The surprise Hall of Fame announcement. The championship reigns.
Yeah.
The rivalries. The NXT revolution that transitioned to a business role.
It's quite a story.
It's a pretty incredible story.
And I think we've only just scratched the surface.
Really?
I mean, we haven't even touched upon his, specific booking decisions.
Right.
Or the way he's cultivated talent, or, the intricacies of his business strategies.
So there's more.
There's a lot more to unpack here.
Well, lucky for us, we have plenty of time to dive deeper.
Yes, we do.
So what's next on the agenda?
Well, let's delve into some of those specific decisions that defined his time as the mastermind behind NXT.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so let's look at some specific examples of, how Triple H shaped NXT.
Okay.
And one that comes to mind is the rise of Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah, the underdog from the underground.
Yeah.
He wasn't your typical WWE superstar back then.
No, he wasn't.
Right.
He was known for his incredible, in-ring work and his connection with the audience. But in, the land of these larger-than-life personalities,
right,
he was initially seen as, too small.
Okay.
Too indie for WWE's main roster.
Too different.
Okay, but Triple H saw something special in him.
He did. He gave him a platform to showcase his talent in NXT.
Okay.
And the fans just went crazy for him.
They loved him.
Yeah, his rivalry with Kevin Owens, who's another wrestler who defied expectations, became legendary. I mean, those matches were technically brilliant.
Yeah.
Emotionally charged. And they just told a story that really resonated with the audience.
Yeah, and I think it was a turning point, proving that, fans were ready for something different.
Yeah.
Something more authentic. Right. And that authenticity was a hallmark of NXT under his leadership.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he understood that fans were looking for characters they could connect with.
Right.
Wrestlers who felt real storylines that were grounded in some sort of reality.
Yeah.
He gave wrestlers the freedom to express themselves, to develop their own unique personalities, and really kind of blur the lines between kayfabe and reality.
And it wasn't just about the men.
We talked about the impact on women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more about, how he really changed the game in that regard.
Well, for years, women's wrestling was often relegated to, short matches, superficial storylines, over-sexualized characters.
Yeah, it was kind of like the afterthought.
It was, but Triple H saw the athleticism and the storytelling potential in these women, and he was determined to showcase it.
Okay, so how did he go about changing things?
Well, he started by recruiting world-class athletes from outside the traditional WWE system.
Interesting.
You know, women like Asuka, a Japanese wrestling legend, Shayna Baszler, a former UFC fighter.
Oh, wow.
They brought this legitimacy and intensity that had never been seen before.
So it wasn't just about looks anymore.
It wasn't about talent.
It was about talent, athleticism. And he gave these women the opportunity to wrestle longer matches. Tell deeper stories, develop complex characters. So he really was treating them as equals to their male counterparts.
He was, and the fans responded in a big way.
Oh, I bet they did.
Yeah.
I mean, matches like the 4 Horsewomen Fatal 4-Way at NXT TakeOver.
Yeah.
Rival.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a game changer.
That was a game changer. I mean, that match featured Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley.
Huge names.
It was a technical masterpiece, a showcase of athleticism, and just an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know, and it proved that women's wrestling could be just as compelling as men's wrestling, if not more so.
And it wasn't just a one-off.
No, this new era of women's wrestling continued to build, and I think it culminated in the first ever women's main event.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania 35.
WrestleMania 35.
Yeah.
Huge.
Huge. And let's not forget, that match featured 3 women who came up through the NXT system.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
And that moment, headlining the biggest show in professional wrestling, was a testament to his vision and his commitment to showcasing women's wrestling on the grand stage.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how far women's wrestling has come.
That really is.
In WWE. And he played a huge role.
A huge role.
In that evolution. But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
You know, we talked about his transition from the ring to the boardroom.
Yeah.
But what was it like for him to step away from performing?
Yeah.
Was that a difficult decision for him?
Well, you got to remember that, you know, Triple H is a competitor at heart.
Yeah.
He loves the thrill of performing, you know, the connection with the audience, the adrenaline rush of a big match.
Yeah.
So retiring from in-ring competition, especially after that cardiac event, you know, was a difficult decision, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I think he also understood that his health had to come first.
Right.
And that there was still so much he could contribute to the industry in a different capacity.
Right. So was the transition to Chief Content Officer, was that something he was already planning, or?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's clear that he was already deeply involved in the creative side of the business. He had been running NXT for several years.
Right.
And he had a keen eye for talent and storytelling.
Yeah.
So I think when the opportunity arose, you know, to take on this larger role, he was ready for the challenge.
Yeah, he hit the ground running.
He did.
The Netflix deal, the TKO merger.
Yeah.
I mean, those are huge moves, but what's his vision?
Right.
For the future of the WWE?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question.
It is.
He's been relatively quiet about his long-term plans, but based on his track record, I think we can expect some bold moves and innovative ideas.
I'm interested to see how he balances, you know, the needs of the hardcore wrestling fans.
Right.
With that desire to reach a broader audience.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a delicate balance.
It is. Yeah.
But he's already made some changes to the main roster product, you know, bringing back some familiar faces, elevating some underutilized talent, putting more emphasis on the in-ring action and character development. But he also understands the importance of spectacle, of creating those moments that transcend the world of wrestling and capture the attention of a wider audience.
Yeah, the Netflix deal is a great example of that.
It is, exposing it to a whole new demographic, potentially bringing in millions of new fans.
Yeah, and giving them a platform to tell their stories.
Yeah.
In a different way.
In a different format.
Yeah.
Potentially, you know, through documentaries, reality shows, scripted series.
Right.
It's a huge opportunity to showcase, you know, the athleticism, the drama, the entertainment value of wrestling to a global audience.
Right. And speaking of a global audience, the TKO merger.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other ballgame.
That's a whole other...
Merging the WWE with UFC.
It's massive.
That's massive. What are the potential implications of that?
Oh, I think it's a game changer in terms of the financial landscape of both sports.
Okay.
By combining their resources, they create this powerhouse of combat sports entertainment.
All right.
Which potentially attracts even more investors and sponsors.
But what about the fans? You know, will they embrace this merger, or will there be some resistance?
I think there's already been some pushback from fans who are worried about, the potential dilution of both brands.
Okay.
Wrestling fans worry that WWE will lose its unique identity.
Yeah.
And UFC fans are concerned about, the influx of quote-unquote sports entertainment into their world of legitimate combat.
Yeah, it's definitely a risky move.
It is a risky move.
But it could be incredibly lucrative.
It could be incredibly lucrative, and I think it's a testament to his willingness to take those risks.
Right.
To think outside the box. To push the boundaries of what's possible.
So we've talked about his impact on NXT.
We have.
His transition to Chief Content Officer.
Yeah.
These major business moves.
Huge moves.
But let's circle back to the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
What does this honor really mean for Triple H?
Yeah.
Beyond just the recognition?
Well, I think for a guy who's dedicated his life to pro wrestling,
Yeah.
being inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate validation. Yeah.
It's a testament to his hard work, his dedication, his passion, and his impact on the industry.
And a chance for him to reflect on his journey.
Absolutely.
Right.
From those early days as a wrestler to his time shaping NXT to his current role as this business executive.
Yeah.
It's been a remarkable ride.
It really has.
And it's a reminder that his story is still being written.
Right.
He's not just a relic of the past.
Right.
He's a vital force in the present, shaping the future of wrestling in ways we can only imagine.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm left wondering, what will his legacy ultimately be?
That's a question that'll be debated for years to come.
I think so.
But one thing is for sure, Triple H has left an undeniable mark on pro wrestling. And his influence will continue to be felt for generations to come.
It's fascinating to see how intertwined his career's been.
Yeah.
From being in the ring himself to now shaping the careers of so many others. I think that's what makes this Hall of Fame induction so much more.
It's not just a celebration of, wins and titles.
It's about acknowledging his vision.
Right.
His ability to see the potential in others and his willingness to take risks.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo.
Right.
Whether it was bringing in international talent, pushing the boundaries of women's wrestling, or forging these groundbreaking business deals.
We've talked about all these different facets of his career.
We have.
What stands out to you as his most significant contribution?
I think that's a tough one.
It is tough.
I mean, his influence is so widespread.
Yeah.
But I think his work with NXT might be his most enduring legacy.
Okay.
He created a space where wrestlers could really experiment
Yeah.
and grow and connect with audiences in a way that wasn't always possible on the main roster.
He was like a laboratory for the future of wrestling.
It was, exactly. He fostered this culture of creativity and innovation.
Right.
And he wasn't afraid to give new talent a chance to shine.
And look at the results.
Yeah.
So many of the biggest stars in the WWE today.
I know. It's amazing.
From Seth Rollins to Becky Lynch honed their skills in NXT.
Yeah.
It's like he had this uncanny ability to spot potential.
He did.
To see something special that other people may have missed.
He's often said that he looks for passion and dedication, that fire in someone's eyes that tells him they're willing to put in the work.
Interesting.
And he's not just a talent scout.
Right.
He's a mentor. He's invested in helping wrestlers develop their skills, their characters, their overall presence.
And that mentorship extends beyond NXT.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
He's been a guiding force for so many wrestlers.
He has.
Throughout their careers.
Whether it's offering advice, providing opportunities, or simply believing in their potential. Yeah. He's played a significant role in the success of countless wrestlers.
It's like he's this wrestling Yoda, dispensing wisdom and guidance to the next generation of Jedi.
I love that analogy. Yeah. And it's true. He has this aura of wisdom and experience.
Right.
But he's also incredibly approachable.
Yeah.
Always willing to listen and offer support.
So we've got this wrestling legend.
Yeah.
This talent whisperer. This business mogul. Is there anything Triple H can't do?
Well, I don't know if he's mastered time travel just yet.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But seriously, looking back on his career, is there anything you think he could have done differently? Any missed opportunities?
That's an interesting question.
It is an interesting question.
Hindsight is always 20/20.
It is.
There are probably some booking decisions or talent signings that, he might have approached differently.
Sure.
But overall, I think he's made the most
right.
of every opportunity that's come his way.
And he's still evolving.
He is.
He's not just resting on his laurels. He's actively shaping the future of WWE.
Yeah, and that's what makes this Hall of Fame induction so exciting. It's not just a culmination of his past achievements.
Right.
It's a celebration of his ongoing journey.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I have to ask, what's next for Triple H?
Ooh.
What are you most excited to see from him?
I'm eager to see how he continues to evolve the WWE product.
Okay.
Will he push the boundaries even further?
Yeah.
Will he create new stars?
Mm-hmm.
Will he revolutionize the industry once again?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess so.
But one thing is for sure, Triple H is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And I, for one, can't wait to see what he does next.
Me neither. And I think that's the beauty of it all.
Yeah.
We've explored his past, we've analyzed his present, but his future is still this wide open canvas full of possibilities.
And that's what makes him such a compelling figure.
Yeah.
The sense that he's always pushing forward, always striving for greatness,
Yeah.
always challenging himself and those around him to be better.
He's a true visionary, a leader, an innovator.
Yeah.
And as he takes his place in the WWE Hall of Fame, we can all celebrate the incredible impact he's had on pro wrestling while eagerly anticipating the next chapter in his extraordinary story.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive.
It is.
Into the world of Triple H.
The game.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
On this journey. And we hope you gained a deeper appreciation.
I hope so.
For the man behind the legend.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the things that fascinate you.